Good evening once again. M.M Out here, over there, everywhere, all over the place, in this case, right here. And as usual, with the Apostle Royce Campbellberry. He who contested, and most of you know this, the last two general elections. And God's willing shall contest the very next one. Apostle,
yes, sir.
This is going to be the norm from now on, where I will give a shout out, I think it's protocol, to some of our viewers. Let them know that we appreciate their watching us.
I think that's good, yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to start out with Minister Talia Clayton of Worldwide Ministries right here in Barbados. Stephen D. Stewart, an accomplished businessman who gives me a lot of talk right here in Barbados. And Carlo of Mix Dance Studio. Hi to you. Apostle.
Yes, sir.
Again, some of my subscribers and my viewers, the recent fires in the Amazon, and they're talking about the environment. Do you think we are actually taking the environment very serious in Barbados, or is anything being done to actually protect the environment?
Well, my answer to that is no. Okay, and I would venture to say I grew up during the time of the soil conservation unit that was doing a whole lot of different work in terms of building the Barbadians and stuff like that to protect land slippage in the Scotland District area, in the St Andrew area, the Sedge Pond area, and we had the 4-H club. You know, we had several clubs that would make sure the NCC was very strong in making sure that our beaches were kept clean because of our very high dependency on tourism. But now Barbados, if some of our viewers are honest, Barbados has become a very soiled country. In other words, it's become very polluted, it's become very dirty, to the point that the collection of garbage in Barbados is in a very sorry state of repair right now, because there are weeks to a month garbage is just piling up all over this island. So when you have heavy rainfall like what we've been recently experiencing, that's going to pose some trouble rather. And we go back to our gullies and how they are, and I'll be very honest with you. There needs to be a whole lot more done to safeguard our environment here in Barbados, and I think the time has come for our government to really look into it.
Yeah, I concur with that. In fact, from what you have just said, you have indicated to me, at least that's how I look at it, that littering is a vital part of this thing too.
It's a huge area. You know, like I said, I grew up in the Roba Indian Grown area of Fort Hill, and right below the Fort Hill plantation, there's a gully area there that, you know, for several years, a lot of refuge has been thrown over there, old bedding, old fridges, old stoves. It's been done in the Sailor Gullies area extensively. This leads many times to why there's so much of a heavy flooding coming into the St. Peter, into the Spikestone area during heavy seasons of rainfall. Now, one of the things that I would say here that, you know, I would advise our government to think about doing is to build step-down dams.
What is a step-down dam?
Okay, it is a system because Barbados is built on a natural terrace system.
You're not referring to the coral?
No, we're not talking about the coral layer. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're talking about how it is built. To get out of any, you know, area on our west coast, you have to clean. Okay, so you're building on one level, on another level, on another level. Okay, so you go out of St. Peter, you go into the Ashton Hall area, you go from Ashton Hall, you go to Pleasant Hall, you climb from Pleasant Hall, you go up to Farley Hill.
And you are ascending all the time?
You are ascending before you can descend into St. Andrew. Same principle if you're leaving Whole Town, you have to go up Seaview, you're going up Seaview, then you're going up to Contact, from Contact you're going up then to the Vauxhall, you're going up into the Hillby area. So you're constantly cleaning, okay? So what happens is whenever there's heavy rainfall at those higher levels, the water just begins a natural descent process, okay? Now one of the things that I think we should have done over the years is to create dams, okay? Now what the dam will do is that as you descend, you create dams. So the water will have to come into one dam. It will have to fill that one up before it can flow over to go down to the other. When it gets to the other one, it fills that one up before it flows out, so that you stem that steady flow into the lower areas, and then you can really stop the flooding when it gets into areas like Spikestown and Whole Town. You can't fix a whole town and expect that your flooding is going to change. It's not going to change. Water follows the path of least resistance, okay? And if you have, for instance, during a hurricane where the sea is rough and it's coming in, then that water is not going to flow out. The water from the ocean acts as a natural barrier to that water flowing out. So this is some of the things I think we should think about.
And your description of that is a step down dam.
It's a step down dam, yeah. Right.
Again, these things are not patented, you know. They're not patented. You guys can actually use them.
You know, I love my country. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
I'm not for me in terms of B or DLP. I love my country, and whatever can be done to make my country move forward, I'm always a part of that.
And on M.M Out There with the Apostle Royce Campbell, we should always tell you things and show you things. And they said, do not be ashamed to use them. But just make sure that when you use them, you mention where they came from. And don't take the credit. Talking about gullies.
Yes, sir.
I grew up near Plinkett, St. Lucie.
Okay.
And we had a gully down there. We used to traverse that gully. You had tremendous variety of fruit trees. You had golden apples, sugar apples, plums, avocados, and they were all nice and damp, like they were in the refrigerator, because down there was always damp. Even honey. We used to go steal when the bees go out, you know, go and steal the honey. Yeah, sometimes you were caught when they returned and you suffered the consequences, right? But today, it's impossible to travel through that gully. And it's because of an accumulation of garbage. And the only thing that actually gets through there is water when it rains. And that water goes down to the sea and it brings a collection of rubbish with it. And when I was growing up, this thing started from when I was growing up. Because there was even an old car, old fridges, everything in certain sections of the gully. At that time it didn't matter. Because, you know, just things. But over the years, it's now beginning to bear fruit. Not beginning to bear fruit, it's already born fruit. You see? So that's how I look at it. And as I said, I told you sometime before, I lived overseas for North America 20 years or more. And especially in Canada, if you throw even a cigarette butt or a sweetie wrapper out of a car window on your phone, you can actually be punished for it.
You're fined for it. Yeah.
They take these things very, very, very serious.
That's correct.
And here, that needs to be done, and it needs to be enforced, not just by talk. I think it's, where is it? Singapore or one of those countries. If you throw gum it's a very serious offense to throw gum on the side of it.
Well, you know, again, I've always said about doing things, we can be so forceful to make sure that we're changing from plastic food containers to paper containers, but we're not doing anything to train our people properly in terms of moving forward. So people are still throwing their cigarette butts, they're still littering, they're still throwing their KFC and Chefette containers out of their vehicles. You know, when they go into the gully areas, they're still throwing their stuff over there, but we haven't done enough to really move our people forward. And I've always said on our show here, you can do things to move the country forward, but not do things to move your people forward. Okay? So in those countries, the government is very instrumental in training their people in cleanliness. Okay? So if you're ready to change a plastic food container to paper container, but your people are still allowed to take those same containers and throw them wherever they want to throw them, you still have a problem.
I see that by changing the plastic to paper and all that is business. It involves money. Money is coming in. There's profit from that. There's absolutely no profit monetary wise, and the government training people and how to not to throw this thing, not to discard this thing here, except talk.
Well, listen, my alma mater, All Saints Primary, All Saints Boys, you were taught at school that if you were eating gum, you keep your wrapper. And when you're finished, you take that gum and you wrap it in the wrapper it came out of, and you put it in your pocket until you get close to a litter bin where you can then discard of it.
But actually, that is the reason why the wrapper is there. The wrapper is there to
that's what we were taught, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's why it's there for the same gum. But again, I was never taught that. So that's something that, that's something I knew. This I found out a few years ago, but as a youngster coming up, because I used to eat juicy fruit and wild cherry and all that sort of thing, I used to buy these things to get the pictures in it, the
stickers
Western and the thing, James Bond and John Wayne and all those sort of things, right? And
but that's what they taught us at school, so that, obviously followed you in life. But again, we're looking at our the condition of our country, and we're looking at things that can be done to make sure that our environment is a safe place. I think, as I said, the time has come for our government to really pay attention to what's necessary to safeguard our environment, not only for ourselves, but for our children.
Apostle, we're coming up to the end of part 1.
Yes, sir.
Now this is such an interesting conversation. We're going to continue this in part 2, because I think this is very important. And I've had a tremendous response from my viewers about this. That's why I'm doing it tonight. Okay, so you have anything you can say quickly before we go, like the next minute?
Well, again, let me add to this, Mr. Morris. Barbados is what we would call a developing state, okay? And at the stage that we're at right now, we should be further. The amount of monies that were put into projects that never really came out, for instance, the Green and Landfill project, over 100 million over there, that could have been used in other areas to make sure that we are safe, okay? So I think the time has come right now for us to pay more attention to our environment. I think we need to allocate funds right now to make sure that our gully areas are clean, and that they're not just clean, but there's an entity set in place to police these areas to make sure that people aren't doing nonsense, so that we would not have these big problems.
Okay, Apostle, that's a very fine point. And in part 2, we shall take up exactly from there. But for now, that's the end of part 1. M.M Out Here, over there, everywhere, all over the place, right here saying the end of part 1, and we'll be back very shortly with part 2. Let's make what I say, Apostle.
Yes, sir.